Hey everyone, Caront here, giving you a sneak peek of my next Let's Play, Wild Arms. Wild Arms was a game released for the Sony PlayStation by Sony Computer Entertainment in 1997, and it is a Western-themed RPG which ended up spawning 5 sequels. Wild Arms is set in the world of Filgaia, a world that was torn apart 1,000 years ago by a race called the Metal Demons. For whatever reason, 1,000 years later, the Metal Demons have decided to rear their ugly heads again. In Filgaia, you will see a land of desert climbs, barren landscapes, medieval castles, and ancient technology all wrapped up into one nice little package. Now, given that we've got Metal Demons menacing the place, we need some heroes, and Filgaia has 3. The first of those heroes is Rudy Rough Knight. Rudy uses a device called an arm, or an ancient relic machine. Basically, he uses a bunch of big guns, pretty much. Now, those guns are pretty powerful, but unfortunately, using an arm is not exactly a good idea in very skittish Filgaia, so Rudy is very much a man apart, a man alone, and as we'll see in Wild Arms, he spends most of his time trying to find a place to belong and people who accept him for who he is. Our next hero is Jack Van Buris, who uses a technique called Fast Draw. That Fast Draw is a series of sword techniques that are predicated on, well, how fast Jack is. Now, Jack is not looking really for any companionship, so to speak, because he has his mouse Handpan, a wind mouse who, well, as we'll see, is smarter than Jack. Go figure. Now, Jack and Handpan are not looking for acceptance or companionship. They're looking for ultimate power and treasure. Now, what in the world is Jack going to do with that ultimate power, you might ask? Well, we'll see as we go along, but it smells an awful lot like revenge. The third of our heroes is Cecilia Lynn Adelheid, Princess of the Kingdom of Adelheid. Now, Cecilia is the game's magic user, and you'll see her roasting enemies and healing allies and buffing them, and the typical magic type stuff. Now, Cecilia is a young woman who is trying in essence to find her own identity, her own personality, apart from being the Princess of Adelheid. So we'll see throughout most of the adventure, she spends most of her time trying to carve out her own personality, her own mentality apart from the obligations and trials of being the princess. Now, as we journey through Filgaia, we'll see these heroes come together and see them travel on land, on the sea, in the air, and even in the stars in their attempts to try to ward off the Metal Demons and save the planet of Filgaia. Now, I think this is a pretty nifty game, even if it did get overshadowed by some other game that came out a few months later in 1997. But I think you guys will have fun as you join me on this journey. So, thank you guys for coming along. I hope to see you riding along with me, and I will see you guys in Filgaia.